Hey, I'm Beth.
And I'm Jamarl, and today we're going to be having a conversation about infertility, specifically to do with male infertility. Now, we thought we'd do a TTC update because we posted our Trying to Conceive video about, 8 weeks ago now?
Gosh, yeah.
And we had so much love and support from that, and we're just so overwhelmed by just how many people we've impacted with our story and how many people are sharing their experiences, and it's been such a blessing to build this little community that we're building.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Today we wanted to specifically focus on Jamarl's side of the fertility update.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about my stuff another time.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the video already, I recommend going and seeing it. But the short story is that we've been trying for a baby for nearly 5 years now, and we've always wanted to conceive naturally, and we haven't felt rushed to do IVF or anything like that because our heart really is to conceive naturally. But we have been tested, and we are continuing to look at tests and to kind of alternative therapies and more natural kind of treatments and things like that. The first stage of testing is obviously a sperm test. Well, for me anyway, not for you. That would be a surprise.
I mean, that's why
we're not
Darn
conceiving.
it! Didn't think of that.
So had my sperm tested, and it turns out
that was an experience in itself.
Yeah, we can tell that story.
Oh, days. What a story.
Another time.
Gosh, comment down below if you want to hear the story.
No, don't comment down below. So yes, I had my sperm tested, and it turns out the mobility of my sperm is a lot lower than average. So the doctor basically said that my sperm count is fine, my sperm quantity is fine.
Yeah, the way he said it, he was like, oh, it all looks good to me. Sperm quality looks fine.
Yeah.
Sperm quantity looks fine.
And then he's like,
hang on a second,
wait,
let me just open up this little bit.
And I was just like,
clicked on something,
my
and he was
gosh,
like,
you should.
Okay.
And I was just like, really? You could deliver it a bit more like nicely, sensitively. He basically said the mobility of my sperm is lower than average. So the average, I think he was saying that anything above 4% of the sperm being of like full mobility is fine, which like you think is actually a tiny amount. Like it only takes 4% of your sperm to be like
not
mobile.
very much.
But then you think about like the millions and millions of sperm cells in like every load.
Yeah.
It's still 4% is still quite a lot. That's still like, I don't know, I don't want to do the maths, but a lot.
You can do the maths. Comment down below when you've done the maths.
So I think I was at like 2%, 2.25%, and the average is 4% and above.
Yeah, 4% and above.
That's actually not bad. Out of all the things that could be wrong on my side, this is probably best case scenario for something to be wrong.
Because at least the quantity is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, mobility can be helped by like vitamins and
lifestyle
exercise
things.
And lifestyle sort of things.
So that's a good thing. We kind of have more direction, at least for me.
Yeah. At least we have some kind of answers on Jamarl's side why we haven't conceived in so long.
But obviously now I'm kind of looking at my lifestyle. We've already been vegan for years, but really upping the vegan initiative. Like super fresh whole foods and stuff.
Yeah.
Zinc and vitamin D are supposed to be really good for sperm mobility and fertility in men. Exercise, like sleeping 8 hours at least a night.
We're quite nocturnal.
Yeah.
So we've really been focusing on getting early nights and stuff.
Yeah.
When we first heard about this, it was kind of like, we almost weren't expecting it to be anything on Jamarl's side, just because I've had so much strange stuff going on with like my periods and things like that. So to hear something come up on Jamarl's side, really wasn't expecting that. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it was strange. It was definitely a shock because, like you said, I wasn't expecting it. And I think in general there is kind of a narrative around infertility that it's the female's problem. Like I hear a lot more conversations about it in female communities.
I think there's a lot more that can go wrong in a woman.
Yeah.
Like a woman's fertility than a man. A man's literally at the sperm.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely was a shock. I think it was hard to take. There's kind of like immediately my heart was like, it's my fault kind of thing, or at least there's an element of blame in me that I couldn't control. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it was an initial feeling. Like it's definitely something I haven't carried through.
Yeah.
But there's definitely that initial I wasn't expecting it to be me and my fault, and there are things that I can do in my lifestyle to change it, therefore I should have been doing that before, and things like that. And I think with the whole infertility journey, my heart is so much to protect and to support you, and you find it very easy to be open with your emotions, whereas I don't. I'm getting better. There's so much change that goes on in a woman's body just around periods, let alone getting pregnant or trying to conceive and not conceiving, and it takes its physical toll on you so much more than it does on me. So I think for me, I was always in like, okay, I want to look after you, I want to support you, I want to kind of plough all my emotional angst into like looking after you. So when it was like, oh, there's something wrong with me, it just kind of blindsided me, and it did make me think, okay, there's stuff I need to do, and also like why wasn't I thinking about that before?
Yeah, because your feelings and everything that you're going through is just as valid and just as important as what I go through.
And I think there's not a lot of conversation about it on YouTube and just generally about male infertility. I mean, infertility is a taboo subject. It shouldn't be, but it is, unfortunately. Within that, there's even more taboo around men talking about it. But I think it's really important that we should, because there are men that have to go through this. There is always implications on the male side. For me, it was just like I almost forgot about myself in this journey because I was so focused on Beth.
Because you're such a sweet human being.
I am, but I also...
It's so important.
Yeah.
Jamarl,
but it's almost like a defense mechanism. It's not even because I love you so... I do love you so much, but it's also because I know that I don't have to think about what I'm going through. If I just...
Okay.
So it's like it is mostly because I love you, but it's also because it's like hiding behind my
Okay.
So it's both.
I'm not crying, I've just got an itchy eye. I'm gonna cry again in this video. If you want to see me crying, watch the other video.
For me, it was difficult to really come to terms with it, and also like really difficult to come to terms with my desire, how much I really desire being a dad. Any kind of impact on my own personal infertility was like, oh wow, I forgot how much I really desire being a dad in this journey. It's such a draining journey sometimes.
Yeah, so sometimes it's easier to block out, isn't it? What you're really wanting.
I find it easier to bury my emotions and plough myself, into like work or into like...
I think it is in general a guy thing, though, from the majority of guys that we've spoken to.
Before we had been tested, it was like, I have a lot of hope and I have faith. I know God has spoken about us having children. I know people have prayed for us. I know that people are supporting us. We're just going to keep going and stuff. But when you get like a real diagnosis, it's like, okay, this is something real to grab hold of. This is where all the faith and all the hope and all the desire gets brought to the surface, and like, oh, I have to actually like face this for real.
Yeah, and it's not holding on to the diagnosis too closely, because miracles do happen.
Yeah, and also it's just being realistic that it's so important to get diagnoses, no matter how painful they are, because then you have something to like, aim for. You know what you're fighting against, rather than kind of just swinging in the dark. Swinging in the dark.
Threw yourself off there, didn't you?
Yeah, I've had seasons and times where like kind of vulnerable with it, and then times where I kind of don't really want to think about it or talk about it, and I think it's okay. Like, it's such a patient journey, and so I feel like I'm coming to terms with not necessarily always having the words, which is quite hard for me because I love words. And I'm coming to terms with it being okay to like desire being a dad.
Yeah.
And also being present right in the moment now, finding joy now. That is like the holy grail, because it's so hard sometimes.
Yeah. You know that I don't at all blame you. Yeah. Don't you? Like, we've had this conversation as well. When I found out, I wasn't like, Jamarl, you've ruined it for us. Not at all. Totally here and like supportive. It's not even you don't have any sperms.
Sperms. You have no sperms.
You don't have sperms. You have sperms. It's just some of them are on crutches and wheelchairs, and that's okay.
They just need to be given a boost.
Given a boost.
Just go give them some cocaine or something.
Woo! Oh my god, I can't believe I just did an impression of sperm on cocaine. is our fertility update so far on Jamarl's side.
COVID has thrown quite a spanner in the works because obviously going into hospitals and getting tested, we don't want to really be going into hospital unless we need to. They postponed your appointment and like
messed up my results.
Yeah, and it's just throwing quite a spanner in the works, which I guess we could do another separate video on because it's a bit annoying.
We'd love to keep the conversations going about fertility and stuff that we've been having in the comments. So yeah, keep on commenting, keep on messaging, and we'll reply to as many of you as we can.
Yeah.
I hope you're having a really lovely time in quarantine.
Give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our channel to follow our TTC journey as well as other videos that we post, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.